Nama So Shi, Nama O Nama Shi So Ha, O Namo Manjo Shi, Nama So Shi, Nama O Nama Shi So Ha. Ye je dang tu ge chu na la jiang ju ba du dang di gyab su ji da ge chu nian ge be cong nang ge ro la ben jie sang ge zhu ba shu. Je dang tu ge chu na la jiang ju ba du dang di gyab su ji da ge chu nian ge be cong nang ge ro la ben jie sang ge zhu ba shu. Je dang tu ge chu na la jiang ju ba du dang di gyab su ji da ge chu nian ge be cong nang ge ro la ben jie sang ge zhu ba shu. 北给就先没多长，给 roughly 悉尼的根巴的，上给新都米的我也就给那他新了就把手，不如让他们到了港的呀大呀的。
마시고라 방금 문제만 우리의 만든 대화인데 오늘 로지는 그런 거 힘이 되니까 피디자는 이게 만든 대화가 되게 대화 순서가 되는 뭐 주진된 뭐 다음에 좀 어떤 식으로 넘어가는 신기가 어떻게 생각하지 정말
Please adjust your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. And think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers not just once, but for numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want even a suffering, a small suffering, due to mistakenly engage with objects of adoptions and abandonment, they do not experience any happiness but suffering. In our minds, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have excellent happiness and its causes that are virtues. May they have excellent happiness and its causes. I will cause them to have excellent happiness and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
뭐지는 굉장히 만드는지 리즈면은 좋아하시는 데 봐서 리즈면 좀 파다 같은 좀 나와지 저와도 좀 그다지 너마다 신지로도 소소도 내가 지금 인정을 했어.
Next, we generate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if the bodies of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with a conflicting virtue, such as pain, sickness, and harms caused by 4 elements. May their bodies be free from the discordant class. I'll free their bodies from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
那就是等我进来，就有慢的那去，以前就照顾那个难度超长，他那个真的就嘛，就找我到个小我那些，我他妈的一心就那公司，这个我就。
How nice it would be if the minds of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as the sufferings of fear and all coarse and subtle negative discursive thought. May their minds be free from the discordant class. I will free their minds from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
你就是我这个有点慢的那，我个这个是跟我经验我查了，他那个真的真嘛，我去找我到个小我这些我妈的心里的意思，我这个。
How nice it would be if the speech of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as lying and all coarse and subtle negative speech. May their speech be free from the discordant class. I'll free their speech from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
我这个就慢的呢，我是就比小我多了，弟弟就他这个这么，去找我到个小我这心里我妈的心里的意思，这个就是那个。
How nice it would be if the three doors of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue. May their three doors be free from the discordant class. Or free their three doors from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
也就是跟我这个身体这个，去对外的东西就没给我的真的，然后去找我到个小我在心里我妈的心里的东西，这个就是那个这个东西。
How nice it would be if all sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from all suffering and its causes. Our freedom from all suffering and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
也就是跟我这个身体这个，就活的，什么跟我的不是了，都年长了，年长了，这地方这样子，我都是身体跟我的这个地方，是了，这样子吧，他就说起来也会，也是就，我就这个身体跟我的，现在在搞搞笑，都是那个这个长期生活的。
Next, we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take on the responsibility to free all other sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and low realms. I should take on the responsibility to free all other sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and low realms. Even though I should take on the responsibility, now I do not have the ability to place them in a state of perfect, complete enlightenment. Who then has such abilities? Only those perfect, complete Buddha with the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment. Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind, the aspiring conventional bodhicitta that thinks, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. These transform into the aspect of a complete mundis at once. The ultimate bodhicitta, that is one's mind becoming one taste with emptiness, all phenomena lack inherent existence. These transform into the aspect of a white five-pronged vajra on top of the mundis. Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while. The self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one. If they were inherently one, they would necessarily become partless one. If they were partless one, they are following thoughts. It would be pointless to assert a self. The self would become many. The self would subject to reductions and disintegration. It will be unreasonable to remember past lives. Karma one has done would go wasted. One would meet with karma one has not done. Therefore, the self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one. Self and the aggregates also do not exist as inherently different. If they were inherently different, they would necessarily become unrelatedly other. Therefore, the self and the aggregates also do not exist as inherently different. The self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one or inherently different, thus is empty of inherent existence.
Pages the one you was in the so so in it is a project to be managed single masoda on the Homa points of Jimmy was my machine. The new yes of the she but he said on the one you made the tower teach the once a shoot up which one a day on the nest of the Chivina, but the was a gets at it. Jim pushing on his interest.
As I always say, it is very important to conjoin the roots of virtue of our three doors with the practice of six perfections. Thus, to conjoin these roots of virtue with the practice of six perfections is as follows. The first one is generosity. The nature of generosity is a mind of giving. These 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma is for the sake of achieving the happiness and purifying sufferings of all sentient beings. If I'm able to cause these minds to manifest, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of generosity.
Point about 最近我什么东西，我是年上过的级别高是2万给你这年吧，就是因为他妈就这个的这个我是学标，这个的当年我的年上过的结巴呢，第一个是给这的，最近百姓没什么认识。
Next one is morality. The nature of morality is a mind of abandonment. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will properly abandon my physical and verbal misdeeds without letting them manifest. If I'm able to cause this mind to manifest strongly, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of morality.
我们注意先把随便我什么东西，刚才年上过的级别高是领先了，里面的刚刚可这个呢，被当到那个学徒把这个的你看到学生去，然后一上当呢，年上过的结巴呢，第一个是给他的随便把什么是没认识。
Next is patience. The nature of patience is an undisturbed mind. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will patiently accept any physical or mental hardships and difficulties. If I'm able to cause these minds to manifest strongly, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of patience.
要真的说看到给我了注意什么的，真的是我什么东西，他年上工作结果了，给我的注意可能真的什么就什么呢？他第一个是给这的，真的是把什么是没认识。
Next is joyous effort. The nature of joyous effort is a mind enthusiastic for virtue. I would joyfully and enthusiastically engage in the roots of virtue of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma.
我谁给你过了，这几多年把的上帝是我什么东西？他讲他年上过的级别个是，现在那么多的那样我都跑不着啊。他年上过的级别给小我的了，把现在要控制更多个人呢。他第一个是给这的，也讲到上帝是不行，你是不认识。
Next is concentration. The nature of concentration is a single-pointed mind with respect to virtuous object. I will single-pointedly focus my mind in this virtuous activity of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma.
而学的时候，学了的东西是把这学了就公司嘛东西，那时候我是几个吃的太可能的把心情么都要不就系统就没呢，第一个是别的，这个就不一样的事情。
The last one is wisdom. The nature of wisdom is a knower that thoroughly distinguishes phenomena. I will properly and unmistakenly understand the words and meanings of the Dharma that I listen to, contemplate, and meditate on. If I'm able to engage in these roots of virtue in this manner, then this root of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of wisdom.
第一就是功能，我就个是的，也是就长久点的上去就恐怕多个第一就当地确实有刺激的性和时间的变化，在功能第一是。
Set motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For these, I will listen to the holy teaching and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
Ja, thank you. 那这里我是做教练的，这样子吧？反正你也得，你最起码是这样子，主要毛病有点旅行呢，主要毛病要不然呢，那刚才我说习惯的话，不习惯的嘛就，到时候是差不的，那差一截了，当我是做了我的，当我是呀，人个嘛去吧，当我是我拿几这个呢，我们我说我不接什么那个给人多的话，我不接。那我说我不觉得，人想到要不就马几把几年都把你要不了什么的，他心里边，看到有做嘛，有做没得，但我不觉得话，我不觉得的，但我不觉得可是我怎么，是那当然话，其实当时的什么的，你我们去成的，要不就是不啦，我说就是说，那毛不怎么去，呀，一共是多把强这样这样也多嘛，
So today this session is mainly for discussions and question and answer. So I have something to explain or summarize. So I will summarize whatever that we have covered from the first day until now, and later I believe that you have many questions. Then after that, then we will have question and answer. So we have briefly finished the fourth chapter, and and then when I summarize it, then I would like to talk about these 8 categories that we learn about. And in this perfection, the main subjects are these 8 categories.
他觉得我说我不觉得，我不去感觉了，那感觉去做我说，人家做的那些可是嘛，可是这些是吧？理由的，那就说的罗些人去，那了吃懂的那了吧？那我说对，学了吃懂了已经去说过了吧？看到感觉我人嘛，得去做的，人都在开始你的学啥了吧？学啥的，他电去做的。咁习惯嘅电视做的嗰啲，但等于嘛是为了我说咁习惯的做吃咯，那啲嘛就嘛继续是吧？那电脑我不觉得那个当我说，当不电视做，不见得看不懂，看你个我不见得做个，但啲可是学啥咯？那每次吃饱的我说咁习惯嘅做个定都是，那等我说继续做的，你好个不结果咯？
So previously, we have gone through the main objects of expressions indicated in individual chapters. Like for example, what is the object of main objects of indications, the main object of expression indicated in the first chapter, second chapter, and etc. And among these chapters, the most important one, or the main chapter that we learn about is the fourth chapter. Thus, we must make sure that we understand the main objects of expression indicated in the fourth chapter.
我的是不可以清楚的吧？那我说干的我不觉得这给清楚的，中国人呢，我说这种嘛，俺们家当中我先把送有外系，这个就不能解释嘛，就是说了，
讲的 Kim Basum.
先把送啊，这个不觉得当不我是先把送有外系。 저기 저거다 제스 딱 되고 와. 나 챔버스 나는 어떻게 딱 되고 왠지 챔버스 딱 되고 여러 내지 뭐 보고. 좋아하시는 좋아하시는 딱 되고 여러. 근데 그 지통을 그 저거다 제스 와.
Yeah. So when we talk about these 8 categories, and these 8 categories, we can easily remember them in this way. So there are 3 extraordinary words, 4 applications, and the last one, which is 8, is the resultant truth body. So we can easily remember these 8 categories in this way: 3 extraordinary words, 4 applications, and the number 8, resultant truth body, or the truth body, the result.
就是吧。我记得多了是大的那个前世的，那前世的那么家庭就早上是的，我是叫个是你把修的前世那么家庭早上，那么家庭早上修了哇，那得修的，那得创造的人给耶稣的，那来了哇，那来了，那多人看到前世的那么，那他妈去，那当不的啊，那什么说的啊，前世的那么的定下来，那习惯告诉杨家啊，是前世的那么定过来，那当不说啊，前世那么定下来哇。那当不南极定下来，南极那个，那你把南极，把西那么定下来哇，那搞习惯样，这搞习惯搞成那种，那其实能把因为流行中，你流行中嘛的，流行嘛主要就是个是，那当不是的，其实能把的嘛，所进行点，搞习惯个其实能把丢了点嘛的，有时候就是能把丢了点嘛，那丢了点嘛了，那国外有的也是，那等于我的水下，故事那水下，这给情报那之类的哇。
And we talk about the aspects of the 3 exalted knowers, the aspects of the 3 the aspects of the 3 exalted knowers, and they are 173 aspects, and it will be difficult to identify each one of them, these 173 aspects. So, however, when we talk about the first 3 chapters, these first 3 chapters covers the aspects of the 3 exalted knowers. And the first chapter talks about the aspects of the exalted knower of all aspects. And then the second chapter talks about the aspects of the knower of the path. And the third chapter talks about the aspects of the knower of basis. So, and then the fourth chapter again talks about the aspects of the 3 exalted knowers. And however, even though the aspect of the 3 exalted knowers are again indicated in the fourth chapter, however, there is no faults of repetition. So, and there is no repetition because in the first 3 chapters, these aspects of exalted knower of all aspects of knower of path and knower of basis. So these knower of basis. So these 3 are indicated individually in respective chapter. And however, in the fourth chapter, these aspects of these 3 exalted knowers are collectively indicated. Thus, there is no fault of repetition. And regarding these, I have included in the quiz. So please have a good look.
当然，这搞习惯个是确实你那么低的点嘛了，不有的时候确实那么低的恐怕些些是吧？搞习惯个是确实那么低的点嘛的，你点不了就是的，就是那么低的恐怕些些的，确实那么低的些的。我等我是晨曦节目啊，多少时间？刚才现在从那边确实那么低的恐怕了，如果有点什么是给你多少贵些是吧？
讲清楚了吗？
现在从那边是吧？但现在从那边确实那么低的，恐怕了，如果有的是干什呢？确实那么。其实那么讲嘛，往多个写一起的，我是修吧。
没往多一起。
其实那么我把它往多个写一起的，而且我是修。
天数你那么，
我其实上次从那边其实你那么定的讲把它如果有点，那其实你能把它往多个写一起的，其实那么讲把它往多个写一起的，是吧？但其实你那么讲把它往多个写一起是，其实你那么讲把它往多个写的，那多年了没有很多团，多年了没有，是吧？很多团，多年了没有写了，看他工作给老头吧。现在对了哇，当年那很多团去的，有些的还是我这乡村从那边，当年那边的工作多样嘛，当年那边的很多卡头的乡村从那边，现在其实那么地的公务的，当年那边的很多的，农行最错误的现在投入的话，我当我乡村从那边，当年那边的，很多头发这些，那其实那把往头发些去的也是有那点的话， that the Shamsi Tolabi, Chisu number dealing with police. Maka Karuazna, Chisu number one Tobashi, yes. Wa, didn't go to that Chisu number one Tobashi, but the Chisu number one towards only a minute, only a minute, Hampus in that.
东西南北他通洋，那东西南北。
那东西南北很多头发写起来是，哇，我到底那老是想起从老把的，我那南北很多的卡瓦的头发的是呢，用了追个是的，追个什么头头个嘛哇，用了追头的，第现在东西南北我就好多头了。
东西南北他通的咯。
我就老是那几百的。
东西南北他通洋，那公众的落在的。
东西南北我就老是了。东西南北，我这我就老是了，要嘛哇。那。
And there is a purpose of collectively cultivate the aspects of three exonant hours, and the purpose is for bodhisattvas on the path of accumulation. The purpose of collectively cultivating the aspects of three exonant hours is to gain control in the aspects of the three exonant hours. So that is the purpose, to gain control in the aspects of three exonant hours. So, and gain control in the aspect of the three exonant hours means that it is to attain the special insight observing emptiness. So the purpose of collectively cultivating the aspects of three exonant hours is to gain control in the aspects of three exonant hours. So to gain control in the aspects of the three exonant hours means that to achieve the special insight observing emptiness. In other words, is to achieve the awareness arisen from meditation observing emptiness. So special insight observing emptiness or awareness arisen from meditation observing emptiness is the same. They are the same. So in order to attain the special insight that observe emptiness, therefore, a bodhisattva on the path of accumulation cultivates collectively the aspect of three exonant hours. So, and when the practitioner, when the practitioner attain the heat level of path of preparation, then they will attain the calm abiding, or they will attain the special insight. They will attain the special insight, not calm abiding, sorry. They will attain the special insight to observe emptiness. And also in the quiz, one question is about this cultivating the aspect, right? So cultivating aspects means that to cultivate the object aspect and to cultivate the knower aspects. So the question is about are the object aspects and knower aspects the object of observation? Are the because object aspect and the knower aspects the objects of cultivation? Then the answer is yes. So among these two, the object aspect and knower aspect, which one is the main objects of cultivation? Then the answer is knower aspects, which is mentioned in the Golden Rosary of good explanation composed by Jeremiah.
당이 저거도 그냥 그전에 맞어. 대한민국 공약의 신식 배치, 꽤나 공약의 공적 관리제 신식 배치 비자를 정확히 가도 내 영역을 들어가더라고. 대나 대나 보고 가지고 꽤나 가지고 그래서 뭔지데 때 퀴즈나 비자를 때 와, 이 제가 시고가 연락 가지고 그랬어. 걔나 가지고 뭐지? 와, 제가 가도 런치라서 와. 정말 이제는
So if you still remember, in the quiz, I also talks about, I also write about the modes of cultivations of object aspect and the modes of cultivations of knower aspect. So and then together with together with examples. So if you still remember, then you can unmute yourself and let me give me the answer.
Can I try? The mode of object aspect is selflessness. The mode of knower aspect is compassion.
So ini te tenang di komsui na te tamejes, shenam di komsui na ninjeres.
그때도 버렸어. 다 대가 놓으면서 와. 맞아 대나 공스나 아, 네. 다 다음에 공부하다. 공부하니 공부. 미다바 공부. 와. 미다바 공부 주대. 모두 도나 공부하시. 예. 다 신나 공스나 니제 공부. 미다바도 로 공부. 언니도 로 공부.
Onda ini te tami kombatang.
다음에 공부하다. 미다바 공부. 공부하니 공부. 그래서 뭐 도나 공부.
Tenang kombatang. Naso ini te.
공부 다음에 니제 공부. 안 되게 생 공부. 와. 미다바도 로 공부. 공부하니
Yang yang mitabe lo.
미다바도 로 공부.
Mitaba kombatang mitabe lo kombai lo are.
로 가. 미다바도 로 공부 되 신나 공부. 신나. 신나 공부. 미다바 공부 되 신나 공부.
That's all. Yeah, so well said. So the modes of cultivations of the object aspect is selflessness, as you mentioned just now. One of it is selflessness. Another one can be impermanence, and it can be emptiness. And the modes of cultivations of the knower aspects, such as the compassion that you mentioned just now, and also bodhicitta, and also cultivating the awareness of impermanence. So there is a difference between there is a difference on meditating on emptiness and meditating on the awareness of emptiness. So meditating on emptiness is the modes of cultivations of the object aspect, and meditating or cultivating the awareness of impermanence is the modes of cultivations of knower aspect.
어디 야구시라는 사람들이 얼마나 비슷해. 모두가 비슷한 맛이 시고 저게 이나 남 차도 좋아 모바일에 좋아도 마찬가지 말어. 그러지야 좋아이나 뭐 좋아 있다잖아. 좋아 있다는 제일 아니 망아서 도도 나라기마 얼마 비슷해와. 근데 개침부터 마찬가지 지경가 이렇게 있어.
Yeah, so before I before I summarize it, and I believe that you have many questions. So how about we go for the question and answer first, and then the remaining time, then we will go for the summary. So if you have any questions, then you can ask now.
Ken, there's a question from Dr. Go in the chat. I will post it again. Oh, yeah, because I think just now earlier you haven't not yet. Okay, yeah, you can see.
Question.
Yes, 15's question.
In Zoom, is it? Or in Zoom? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I have a question for you. Can you explain the terms exhaustion and non-production? And non-production stated in the etymology of 37 harmonies of enlightenment, that state is harmonies of enlightenment. That state is harmony of the because the exalted wisdom knowing exhaustions and non-productions are enlightenment. How does that related to each of the 7 sets under the 7 harmonies of enlightenment? Stated in the etymology of that. 讲出说对嘅大事，讲出说对嘅大事，那啲能落嚟啊，啲寫吧，未記吧，識啲我哋，呢樣啲let me see exhaustions. anything 전략 가리제사 가리지네 세바당 미게와 anything 장치 소중 기계와 가리제스.
당고 봐 저는 그 비셔랑 저래 이집트를 마찬가지 세면 지시리 기세 우리 기세 저래 간다 디인제 다 가도 저도 그다 상주 소디스 정확히 시고만 되게 지자당 저래 가르쳐 있다고 또한 저는 지시를
你就这样打写下的ABCD 所以是六
다른 것이
장치 소중 장기 다시
상주 소디 정도 되시 이건데
얘는 also 비슷한 나로라 dos let me see definite English 통을 니가 구조 제기를 니 나로라 양디 세바 당 미게와 치디요사 이 중의 되니라 there's a reason for calling these 37 harmonies of enlightenment is because it's ordered 아니 디 세바당 미게와 시에베 예시나 양추부데스
세면 지시리
가와야래
그다음에 저는 지시고 저는 세면 지시리 장주고 시고 장주 장다 시고
아니 디 단단 공기 지와데 아니 디 가르치네 디 세바당 디 미게와 디 장추 소중기 기와데 가르치에사
이现在叫我这小学时候的是从我家就去那么근데 야사的去的卡都那么按照什么级别是比较这个不清楚了嘛
세 미게베 예시 세 미게 시에베 예시
什么级别是
장추 제스
讲就是讲刚刚我那这个嘛我写我的
근데 디당 세바당 미게와데 아니 장추 소중한 대화 가리요래사
我可比较
맞아 니슈 쟁아로 니슈 쟁아 세상한테 한테 체들
你这个这种我现在
그게 나 방금 친구
我对我对给用把几个人带
네 말에 아주 빼져 나올라래
你觉得比较大我是把你当
야 진짜 딱 본다 이제 또原来充满中
这个地方嘛
我从上大戏那第七有时
这些电视电脑的记录这些说过了可能的这大不了这个
yeah so regarding this
这部门是想开的
so regarding this I couldn't find it in our Tibetan text so I will let you know I will answer to these questions later
现在有大学时候
at this if you have any question
Okay, maybe I just want to ask one simple question. Can I say that the 8 aspects of the 8 branches of Aya's path are the 8 full path?
아니 가다데 야 소디한 가다데 팔람 연락이로 팔람 연락이나 나초디 지당기 팔람 기사데
근데 그게 정말 방안지 지에서는
팔람 기요로 팔람 저지 info 파스데
이렇게 맞아 말했고 방안이라 지에 가서 근데 그다음 법이나 지에서는 서 담보니 찍어봐서 법이나 주세 이제 뭐라 봐 주지서라고 그러와 남주기 법이나 법이 남주지 그러와 서 담보니 뭐라 봐 주지서라고 그러와
당초 그래야 야균난데 내한테 팔람기 시기 오래서 니디 나 팔람 연락이 다 팔람기에 집어지게 아니라
계속 깨지면 그래서 다들 집어졌어 번째가
내 말이 이 아주 디피시디 집어인 게 단다 야균난데 내가 다파데 팔람기에 시기 오래
팔람 기타 아니 팔람 기라 기데 지바지가 있어서
저도 집에 와서 뒤에 와서 셰바게다 셰바게세 파빌라 이게 뭐 아무도 리더십 인지라면 제가 발로 하는 거야. 근데 되는 말이
이포파
파라 연락해서 연락해서 저도 개인 말에 딱 저는 이게 넣어야 돼 가지고 셰바게다 셰바게세 파빌라
이주도 차이로
이거 들어와. 리더십 인지라면 저랑 가발로
Yeah, so regarding the eightfold path that you asked, so is the divisions of eightfold path exactly the same as the 8 branches of IS path? I don't have the eightfold path divisions.
Or eightfold path,
Exactly the same.
Yeah, quite. I mean, exactly the same. Only the sequence, I think, perhaps maybe a little bit difference.
Right view, resolve, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration.
Yeah.
So I Google it, any website. Yeah. So
okay.
they need to kasa tip kongi tada palam yena ki ang palam ki de jipa inas ini yang tagian lang muai na palam ki sa de yang topa dang kasa nanti tawa topa nga legi kata jawa sa de topa junju 제바 당 띵인 yeah
보시나 양양도 봐.
나와
Enda mida bila yana sura
하나 yeah. So regarding this eightfold path or eightfold noble path, so it's it's different translation for the same dependent words. So they also list this eightfold path on the internet is also say the same thing: right view, resolve, speed, action, livelihood, etc. Yeah. So when we talk about this right view, the correct view, and then sometimes it's translated as right view, then the correct thoughts, then is sometimes translated as right resolve and so forth. So they're using one is using the word correct, another one is using the word right. So however, they are all the same. In this context, when we say view, when you say thought, when you say speech, in this context, it refers to the correct view, in these eight branches of ISP. So they are the same. So whether you call it 8 branches of IS path or you call it eightfold path or eightfold noble path, then they are the same. So because just now when you talk about when you ask the questions, and I was thinking, were you asking about the 8 knowledges and 8 forbearances or not? So however, so back to your questions. So these two are the same.
Okay, thanks.
Can lah. I just thought of asking this now, since follow up of self question, the Theravadian Noble Eightfold Path, but the division onto the 3 higher training is a bit different. Don't know whether to ask Keshila. In our text here, ornament, the division is 4 into higher training of wisdom, 3 into higher training of ethics, and only meditative stabilization in higher training of concentration. Whereas in the, I think in the Hinayana text, they put right mindfulness and right thought and right meditative stabilization under the higher training of concentration. So their division is actually a bit different from what we are studying.
So you are talking about You're talking about the division is different, or you're talking about how they are subsumed into
The three higher
branches.
training is
The
different.
three higher trainings are
Yeah.
different.
The subshoot, how they subsume into three higher training. Wonder why there's such difference between the two vehicle, Hinayana and Mahayana.
So, okay, so you mentioned that according to Theravada text, right mindfulness, right thought, and right meditative civilization are subsumed into the training in concentration. However, in our ornament text, only one correct meditative civilization is subsumed into the training of concentration, right? Hello? Hello? Okay. Yeah. And then it is Hong Chinese way, no? Thế mình là tiếng pháp bên hơi sao để phát làm gì là cái tiếng sẽ kêu rồi để tiếng sẽ kêu để sao ini当初tiếng quân都给那cấp 18那để与当就了对处因为tiếng是的希腊啦对叫的说明那tiếng出点啦对叫的因为的记定眼镜是的养到把定眼镜养到把定眼镜的的个啥的三点个啥的定眼镜的拉巴啦的tingin lava de dugiores ini temingi pecha la tene shewaina yangda be temba yangda yang kaza yangda ba temba yangda ba to ba ang di tingin zin di sumbo di haba tingin zingi kaza tingin zingi lava la dugioresa yudang de loarwa 시바이나 대지 양다바 띵엔진 아도 대 띵엔진이 라바라 두기레스 지 마도 대 두기요 말이 아니 에미 기 베차라 땡네 셰와이나 좀 두기요 레사 띵엔진이 라바라 두기요 레스 오빠
제가 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 이거 말이죠.
또 노가리 마도래
이게 뭐 맞는데 거의 기억이 나서 전주도 몇개 지나가서 도대체 제가 같이 쉬는 거. 나는 네가서 전주도 가서 지리게 나가는 사진 좋아. 전주 나가서 전주게. 안보소대로 지리게 나가는 사진 좋아. 내가 전주게 참아라 근데 좋아. 참아라 근데. 나도 또 온다지. 와지 샤마도 지나가서 제발이라 이거 말했어. 나도 놓고랑 그 시래는 니빠다니 너 저거 그랬어. 좋아. 아주 수준이 차례 샤워를 가지고 수준에서 왔길래 샤워를 한다. 또 이주 보양의 차례지 샤워 한. 와, 수준이라고 해서 이 당시에 우리 이주 보양의 차례. 아주 또 벌써 좀 샤워 딱 되고 이렇게 자동. 그래서 벌써 좀 들어와. 샤워 지금 그것도 나봐서는 샤워 딱 되고. 그래서 샤워지 차. 일반집이 차서 가서 저기 라바는 세세 집안으로 오지. 되게 이 차례 그래서 지리질라 그냥 봐. 근데 제가 요즘 말에 저거 들어와. 이 샤바 당가 이 제가 해서 좋아. 샤바 말하고 드려마도.
근데 대팀이 밥이 연락 기당 지생기 이거 지나러
연락 제시에 집어를
그래서
제가 해서
기술 하
아마 연락 집어 진짜 쉬는 거래. 그 집에는 가서 사지 있어야 봐. 이게 뭐 집에 나서 저기 밖에 장사를 뒤자고 와. 재미있는 생각이 쉬고 말아. 서지는 막 키기 내고 말아. 재미지 방안을 하게 되면 이게 막 재미있게 통하고 원하는 맛이 아마도 원하는 자마다 가서 서지 langale 샤기 요 말아. 이게 서지는 상지사스 드니아 샤기 요 말아. 방안을 하게 되면 기도 됐어.
이신기 사주나 랑가디 시요 말아.
재미 드니 샤기 요 말아.
Yeah. So yeah, typical if you're still online. So when you talk about this, according to Theravada, right mindfulness, thoughts, and meditative civilizations are subsumed into the training in concentration. And in our text ornament, then correct meditative civilization is subsumed into the training of concentration. So it varies. The way of subsuming varies from different perspectives. So it depends on which perspective that you talk about, then they are subsumed into different groups. Like for example, even though Joy's effort is subsumed into the training in ethics, if I'm not mistaken. So
even though it's subsumed into the training in ethics, however, joyous effort subsumed into all into all trainings, into all three trainings. It means joyous effort pervades the three trainings. So it can be subsumed from the perspective of functions. It can be subsumed from the perspective of ability and etc. So there depends on which perspective that you talk about, then they are subsumed into different perspective. So even though Theravada, they talk about Eightfold Path and
제가 제가 제마다 가서 띵이들 샤워데 대바는 가서 이걸 시대 때 중원 증거치게 시대 봐 요지는 마당이지 딕찬에 시 띵고 차례 받아 띵이들 샤워와 이 제바치다 이거 맞죠.
Yeah, so like for example, right mindfulness, according to Theravada, right mindfulness is subsumed into the subsumed into the training in concentration. Then when we talk about mindfulness, is a mind that abides firmly on the objects of observations. And from this perspective, is not wrong to group right mindfulness in the training of concentration. So Kishala just now mentioned about this Eightfold Path or eight branches of IS path that talks about that is mentioned in Theravada and that is also mentioned in Mahayana. So even though the Eightfold Path or eight branches of IS paths are exactly the same, however, in the Hinayana, this Eightfold Path doesn't talks about the Mahayana 10 grounds and the Mahayana 5. 10 grounds and 5 paths, 5 Mahayana paths and the Mahayana 10 grounds. In the Hinayana, they don't talk about this. So, however, in the text that we talk about, or in the Mahayana context, then we talk about the 10 grounds and also talk about 5 paths.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
예. 이 마찬가지로 테라와다에 가서 바라이나게 소지게 버렸고 와 텔레모 가지고 고조 수데 테라마와 테라와 이래봐 이래봐 니게 버서 그냥 슈게 쉬고 바라이나 거 미세고 버렸어 그거 바라이나 거를 가서 내 당보 이때 이게 내 당보니야 봐야겠어 내 당보니야 내 당보니야 그래서 바라이나 거 지워로 와 진짜 당와서 제가 정말 좋아하시고 바라이나 그 와서 원하는 길을 시우로 와. 왜 이래서 원하는 시우. 들어와도 이게 대면도 마시고 내 당번이야.
So, and regarding these eight branches of IS paths in Hinayana context, so Hinayanists, they really put great effort in cultivating these eight branches of IS path, and they also put effort in cultivating it from the state of being a beginner. So as a beginner, they also put effort in cultivating these eight branches of IS path. So however, when we talk about these eight branches of IS paths in the Mahayana context, then it is mainly mainly indicated on the path of meditation.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Geshe-la, I want to ask about exalted knower. Generally, we talk about exalted knower, we are referring to the Buddha. But here, we are referring to the path. Entering the path is already an exalted knower. So Geshe-la can explain that a little bit further on the exalted knower. My understanding is that exalted knower generally refers to Buddha. But here we are referring to those who have entered the path, already considered as the exalted knower. I'm not sure about that one. Can you explain a little bit further?
So, Kishalangi ko wai na tian jitang di thone ang tu kemba de shi kabla kemba de shi wai na di sangye segi oresa sangye la de kogi ores kemba de la wai na de sangye yana sangye la de kogi ores ne kap di ine ang tu ti picha di nang lo la yang lam la shungen den zo gi lam la shungen den zo yang kemba se gi ores ya kishla di ko la ti ji kebro nang
그 지금 뭐 그냥 돼 있어 그 아주 탄지 첨바지 넣으러 탄지 첨바는 가서 산지 살이야 산지 일이야 거대지 여러와 탄지 첨바서
상기라 koyaro
산지 살이 그래 탄지 첨바는 다 산지 법이 지지야 산지 법을 해야지 거야 탄지 첨바서 와 이 산지리야 무슨 거대지 내가 그랬어
상기라 koyaro
산지라 와 탄지 첨바서 단지 지는 게 싸가다 산지를 막 진짜 요 말해서 linda 시작 그래서 나디로와 탄지 첨바서 지난 것은 첨바서 간다 연구 삼바 쯤만 있으면 첨바서 한 신이서 신이
엄마 캔버스 때
첨바서 난 신체 첨바요 난 신체라 연구 삼바 쯤만 있으면 첨바도 난지 신이서 와
민윤이 삼바
쯤만 있으면 첨바
쭈마 마임바
어데
쭈마 마임바 건다
쯤만 있으면 첨바
쭈마 마임베 캔바
마임 첨바 나 첨바다 망가 뭐 또서 저거 된다 지발 첨바 랑 뭐도 살아니시 사스바
연중기 삼바 쭈마 마임베 캔바로
연구 삼바 쯤만 마임 심이 첨바
심베 캔바
첨바도 난 신스
디지당이라 딜 람이 신자라 데 캔바레 응원도레
랑 첨바 뭐도 무슨 된다 지발이스 나 저는 산지 살아 지서와데 가서 너지 용라 탄지 첨바 지라 그래 데 인터레스트 그거 아주 탄지 첨바 산지라도 시험이 와나지
Yeah, so I believe that when you say your understanding when it talks about exalted knowers, then it refers to Buddha. However, here it talks about those who have entered the path, then is considered exalted knowers. So when you say exalted knowers refers to Buddha, so I believe that you are talking about exalted knower of all. So exalted knower of all, in other words, or AKA omniscience. So yes, then it belong. Only Buddhas has this exalted knower of all. Or when you talk about omniscience, then it refers to Buddha. So, however, in general context, when we say exalted knower, then exalted knower is mutually inclusive with path, is mutually inclusive with clear realization. So this path, exalted knower, and clear realizations are mutually inclusive. So and you say exalted knower. So exalted knowers refers to an exalted knower that is conjoined with an uncontrived thought of renunciation. So an exalted knower that is conjoined with an uncontrived thought of renunciation, uncontrived thought of renunciation. So it is an exalted knower. So exalted knower of all and exalted knower in general context, they are different. So exalted knower of all, aka omniscience, it refers to Buddha only. It refers to Buddha, or only Buddha has it. So however, when you talk about exalted knower in a general context, which is mutually inclusive with path and mutually inclusive with clear realizations, and it talks about an exalted knower that is conjoined with an uncontrived renunciation. That is the exalted knower in a general context.
It means, Geshe-la, that when you talk about the three principles of the path, that once you've entered the first level, which is the path of renunciation, are you exalted knower in this explanation? That wouldn't be right, isn't it? You're not an exalted knower at the point of time when you enter the first of the three paths, path of renunciation, path of bodhicitta, and the path of how do you call it, no more learning, or path of sleep. So I want to clarify. The moment you enter the path, then you have renunciate, unconditional renunciation. That means you are not an exalted knower yet, isn't it?
홍이나 뒤다 킴바세야 돼 양가자 양 강사다고 야나 가자 공기 오케이 공기 시당 공기 지와이나 이 남도 남숨세야 돼 남도 남수 있는 데 연중 장쌤 당 양답이 따와로 근데 양쌤 그래서 연중 요와이나 이 남도 남수 이 연중 되게 와이나 근데 강사 대 캠바 타워레스 근데 람나 이 따다 요 말와스
그 강사들 가서 캠퍼스 넣어야 말은 가서 다 선지 파파시로
야나 대 캠바 차와레스 미게 양나 강사 대 냠렘 바 냠렘 칭엔데 캠바 차와레스 이네 디네 람나 대 따다 요 말와스
그뒤 그러게 이제 가서 이러고 이랬죠. 만다 강사들 지단 가서 캠퍼스가 강사 많이 넣어. 캠퍼스가 강사 많이 있어. 캠퍼다 사다 난다 캠퍼 공부도 뒤에 시 등기를 라인 받아 예.
사
사다
남
난다 캠퍼 공부도
캠만도
공부도 쓰는 된다 지발이 해서. 아마 나지 요래
캠바 이나디 캠 강사 많이
강사 많이
캠바 이나 강사 많이
캠퍼도 강사 많이 했어. 다 지단 나지 요래 들이로 강사를 캠퍼스에 와서 다 성지 파바의 최강진 캠퍼에 최강진 것으로 캠퍼 이제 최강진 것으로 캠퍼 있으나 친구를 되나 성지 보러 캠퍼게 말아 캠퍼 말했어. 최강진 것으로 친구를 했어. 다 단위라고 이래다. 최강진 것으로 친구를 최강진 것으로 동물을 해서 왔다 최단진 친구를 해서 최단진 것으로 동물을 해서 다 된다고 산지 봐봐. 산지 봐봐 그런 챔버에서 나요 말이야.
산지 봐봐 장이나
산지 봐봐 챔버에 나면 산지 봐봐 강사가. 그래서 산지 봐봐의 강사래. 맞아 편주가 따와 터는 너 강사 세워도 셰바 자원이 필리고 말아. 강사 세워도 셰바 자원이 필리고 말아. 편주가.
캠바 이나디 셰바
그 챔버의 셰바로 와. 나 산지 봐봐 최단진 친구를 최단진 동물에서 된다지 이해된다. 산지 봐봐 그런 강사로 와. 산지 봐봐 최단진 것은 친구를 최단진 것은 또 그랬어요. 나 된다고 그래. 난 맞아를 봐 친구를 친구에서 제발 맞아 그런 제발이 나와야 맞다.
So probably then you are thinking about so when we say someone is an omniscient, so when someone is an omniscient, it means that someone directly realizes all phenomena. So it means that that person or that enlightened being realizes directly realizes all phenomena. Then we say someone is an omniscient. So when we say exalted knower, and as I mentioned, exalted knower, ground, path, and clear realization. So these are mutually inclusive. Exalted knower, ground, path, clear realization. They are mutually inclusive, and exalted knower is consciousness. So if you were to say that, how's it that, and then you are not an exalted knower, then you would mean that that person is an exalted knower. So then there is a contradiction. Contradiction as in an exalted knower is definitely not a person. A person is definitely not an exalted knower. So so that's why when you say that that doesn't mean that you are not. So that means that you are not. So you are an exalted knower. Then it wouldn't be right to say that, right? So then you would somehow link that that person is an omniscient. So I'm thinking that you are coming from this perspective. So however, when you say someone is an omniscient, so means that that person that being directly realizes all phenomena. So like for example, even Arya Buddha himself. So Arya Buddha himself or herself cannot be said as an exalted knower. Arya Buddha cannot be said as an exalted knower. So because a person and exalted knowers are if he's an exalted knower, is not a person. If he's a person, is not an exalted knower.
我等我是大家点吧，点吧，你去他那个是大家点吧，写的对吧？你去他那个是那亲戚的，那得几百的看，上来，大家点吧写对吧？把写的对吧？去他那个是那亲戚的，去他的，我去请吧的也是的，他的请吧的也是，我这个他的下去的也是，我跟他说，他上去跑比去请吧的，写吧，让去看的字，那么马上就能出来了嘛，对吧？马上去了嘛，对吧？他就会在港上来写吧，就能看那个嘛，对吧？港上写完了写吧，早晚你看那个嘛，你请吧的港上来下什么等地个嘛，对吧？
Yeah, that's the man that they should come to the king yours.
오, 진짜
They,
괜찮다.
they tiny did.
오, 되게 타는 샤워라. 한번 쉬었다 뭐 최단지 정글에 최단지 무슨 또 그래. 근데 타는 샤워도 땜박 기대도 봐 주시 최단지 무슨 도민 쳔바데 맞아 레벨에 말해라고 봐. 이 그거데 말해.
다저 또 매, 주담 비,
무슨 쳔바
기바데.
쳔바데 가사 레벨에서 말해. 이 가사 있으나 이 가사의 셰바 시비 요구로 와. 가사 이제 셰바 있다 단조기 저거는 요마 셰바 저거 단조기 가사 출력하는 거로 말아. 가사 셰바 켈레게 가사 켈레게 따라 어디 봐 그다 오마서 봐. 단조하게 가서 셰바 뭐 지금 가사 출력 이렇게 좀.
Yeah. So this word omniscient, it can also be translated as the sole knower of all. So this is a bit tricky. So when we say Buddha Shakyamuni is an omniscient. So Buddha Shakyamuni is an omniscient. So means that Buddha Shakyamuni directly realizes all phenomena. So yeah. So I have to correct myself because if I use the word a sort of knower of all, then you would you would phrase like this: Buddha Shakyamuni is an exalted knower of all. So and however, if I translate it in this way, then it will be incorrect here in this context. So it will be better to use the word omniscience here. So Buddha Shakyamuni is omniscient. Is an omniscient. So means that Buddha Shakyamuni realizes all phenomena directly. So and the exalted knower of all of Buddha Shakyamuni is not is that a person? So yeah, so same word again. So is that exalted knower of all in Buddha Shakyamuni a person? Then the answer is no. So because if you were to say yes, then you must be able to, then you must proceed common locus between, then you must proceed a common locus of exalted knower and person. So it must, it is an exalted knower and at the same time is the person. So however, according to Prasangika Madhyamaka, there is no common locus of an exalted knower and person.
Excuse me. So how does it relate to the clear light mind in Tantra? When we talk about clear light mind, so with the 8 dissolutions, and then we come to clear light mind. Because the clear light mind is not the omniscient mind. So this is my confusion here. How does it relate to the clear light mind in Tantra? Because eventually we are practicing that, isn't it?
And how does this omniscient relate to the clear light mind in the Tantra, right?
Mind, yeah. Yes.
That's all. That's all. Ini di Tantra 삼직신 봤을 때, ini 당 ngagi 톤 ngagi lula 시와이나 ngaju 가사 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 때 위기 심 가사 가사 때 clear light mind said we may seem right because we say same we say same right 예 we say same there 아 so dia 가사 지 대기에서 대니 바 기대 지 돌아 치와 오세야 나 오세야 돼 오세야 돼 당 탐지캔 바데 네 대한 대화 카리오레스 아이스나 좀 단다 랑나기 냠nen데 치와이나 대한 치와 오세야 나 오세디 냠nen 치요로 기존에 대한 오세 대당 탐지캔 바 대화 카리오나스
산지스에 산지 지바 부서를 이것이 차죠. 산지에서
그건 그냥 계속
산지스에
상기 봐봐
산지 법이 쳔바 그거를 리지집이 히카데
我是一家人，
是差的，哇，
생기 되게 이제, 예, 이내 어서 단다 냠렘 바지.
나 저 명리 지어된 거서 정말 현지집이 해라 다 이들고 그냥 와셔셔. 정말 현지집이 해. 다 정말 현지집이 해서 나한테 와셔 명리 지었다. 나서 세 타투디 여도 배에 들어와. 왜? 정말 현지집이 해서.
요말 행계기 이제 되어.
간지 쳔바서 kell고요 맞대. 간지 쳔바서 kell고요.
나서 나 냠렘 지와 이나 대한 요마 대 행계기 이제. 이리 대 탐지키 맞대 있어요.
Ini tinyu ma hengi yi shi di dang jil di ka sa sangye tobi kap su tamji kemba di jiwa kari yo. Nyu ma hengi yi shi di dang tamji kemba jiwa kari yo nas. tamji kemba yi shi. Yeah. So when you talk about this clear-line mind and also omniscience, so the all exalted knowers, all exalted knowers in the continuum of an Arya Buddha are clear-line mind. So another way of saying this is an exalted the exalted wisdom of spontaneous great bliss. Exalted wisdom of spontaneous great bliss. So all exalted knowers in the continuum of an Arya Buddha are clear light minds. In other words, exalted wisdom of spontaneous great bliss. So, however, we on the learner's path or when we practice, then this clear light refers to the exalted, the primordially spontaneous exalted wisdom. Primordial exalted wisdom of spontaneous. Yeah. Nyuma hengi yi shi ro. Yeah. So primordially spontaneous exalted wisdom. So when we practice, then we are relating to this primordially spontaneous wisdom, spontaneous exalted wisdom, and when we achieve the state of enlightenment, this primordially spontaneous exalted wisdom will transform into the exalted knower of all, also known as omniscience.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I want to confirm something just now when you say, when we say exalted knower, ground path, and clear realization, these are mutually inclusive. And exalted knower is a consciousness, is it? That word. And exalted knower is a consciousness.
That's what it is. Yeah, Kemba sa lam window na de twenty ro la Kemba na diang sheba ro. Yeah, that's correct. So exalted. De twenty days. Kemba na diang sheba days. Sa lam window na chama de sheba ro. Yeah. So you're right. So exalted knower, half ground, clear realizations are mutually inclusive, and all of these. So exalted knowers is a consciousness. Half ground, clear realization is a consciousness. They are all consciousnesses.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. That's what line be. Okay, so then Sally and Dick and each what they do. Yes. Someone is saying.
Ken last, sorry, Pipin here. My question actually is found in page 23 of the text. English 23 under etymology.
Page 23. Yeah, page 23, I know, yeah. So, and then now I'm actually looking at it. I couldn't find in Tibetan. Yeah, it's not, I cannot find.
It's okay. Not find in Tibetan, not important.
Yeah, so regarding your questions, and yeah, I'll let you know later. Yeah. Anyway, if you have, Sally also has some questions she sent to me. So, and then the first question, the first questions. So I will read out the questions. So looking at the definitions of branches of perfect enlightenment and branches of IS paths, they appear to be similar. Appreciate if Geshe-la could please clarify on what is the difference between them, aside from them being the main objects of cultivation, posited on the path of seeing and path of meditation respectively, and especially since it is stated in our text, page 46, that although the branches of enlightenment and the branches of the paths of ayas are explicitly posited on the path of seeing and the paths of meditation here, the 37 harmonies with enlightenment are completely attained from the path of seeing. 其他呢啲主要談不啲咯，就啦。因為啲講出言啦，但帕朗語言啦，而千語言就double有嘅，因為有啲就是之前呢啲通冧小語言，之前呢啲講冧小語言，啲你先別傾乜考慮嗱，出嚟嘅知識有咯嗱。
對嚟是通浪的，或者
知通冧同知講冧啦，講出言啦，同帕朗語言啦。而千語double有嘅。
所以你知道嘛？你經常到嘅，長久期也拉落嘅，讓個這個級別，讓個這個級別長久期就做個這些，是吧？讓個這個級別長久的30-40年嘛都現在要嘛，讓個這個級別長久就做個去，把前把這個些是吧？你小的長久期了，對吧？你小的讓個這個級別長久就是把前把是，但讓個這個產業。做是让人这不长久的3级了嘛，都5级了要嘛也是。
这不以前的些玩意
让人这不长久的，让人这不长久的3级嘛，都5级了要嘛也是。当不得了。
这部以前的些玩意那啲让佢这部讲究些啲3级以上了要吧
？3級了要嘛。
3级以上了要的。
3级了要的嘛，都5级了要嘛也是。
5级以上了。
但让人这不。长久做起就做这个修养的是，做这个修养的是。他旁来了说的，让个这个级别，让个这个级别，那就是让个这个级别，让个普通的人，这普通就是不哇，让这旁来去追，对，发进钱包的，他旁来修的，他让这旁来的了，长久应该的嘛，应该有。
让这旁来没呢？
让这旁来的了，旁来了不让这旁来的了，长久的，长久嘛应该。5级了应该有的是。
让这帕拉米那点讲究。
长久应该有的，长久应该有的是。
讲究应该有的。
长久应该有，让这旁了就基本让这旁了你就有了吧？应该应该的嘛，应该有的是。或者说他旁来了兄弟，让这旁了就是吧，是我说，让人这个旁了的，啊的长久应该的，长久嘛应该有的也是。
讲究应该了呢，我讲究应该3级以上了。但讲究嘛应该让啲帕朗社啲你讲究应该有的讲究应该
应该有
的话
这场地应该有嘛也是是吧？那长久呢让你去做修的，让你我就做这东西不做修的，就让他想修是吧
？Yeah. So, okay, this is one of the definitions. So the definitions of a branch of enlightenment is an exalted knower in an IS continuum that acts as a cause of the enlightenment that is its result. So this is the definitions of a branch of enlightenment. Then the branch of IS path. Okay. Just to Yeah. Then the definitions of a branch of IS paths is an exalted knower in an IS continuum that is a cause of its result, an IS path. So this is also looking at the definitions of a branch of perfect enlightenment and the definitions of a branch of IS paths. So from the perspective of the result, which is the object of attainment, so it's different. So for the objects of attainment or the result for the branch of perfect enlightenment is enlightenment itself. And the object of attainment for the branch of IS paths is IS paths. So because a course of its result in IS paths, right? So IS paths is the result. So when you talk about enlightenment, that is its result in the branches of perfect enlightenment, then this enlightenment that is its result exists only on the Buddha ground. So it doesn't exist on the ground of a sentient being. And you talk about, then that is the from the perspective of the result, yeah, or the object of attainment. And however, for the IS path, so for the branches of IS path, so its result is IS path. So its result that is IS path. So it can be an enlightenment, or it can is not necessarily an enlightenment. So IS path itself, that is its result, is not necessarily an enlightenment.
그런데 또 그저 시골에 제랑 그런 게 이제 또 가르치는 또 단주 거기 또 될시오 오시오 그래서 랑 이제 그 장주지 이제 또 그저 시골에다 또 장주 줘야 이제 또 시골에 올라가서 장주 타고 돼 거기 이제 요도에도 또 동반 장모선 또 편받아요 동반 장모선 또
동반이 되는 것은
또 본인 것은 또 같아 본인의 또 외쳐 봐 대략이 단지 도지 또 통마도 되면서 권한 가서 오시 권한 대리 통한 가서 장지 도지 이제 요도에도 또 권한지 가서 도와선자 대 가서 남는 이제 뭐 단지 도지 이제 또 같이 첨바세 나오게 들어와 랑 이제 뭐 단지 도지 들어와 랑 이제 뭐 집이 장주지 저시 같이 첨바세 나와 그래도 이제 통화지가 야 인생데 그것이 이제 요도에도 통화 네 통화가서 어머니 때문에도 통화가 아드니 림바기도 권한 가서 야래 우리 권한 가서 맞아 근데 공리 제바지마도 미세 도야 해요 미세 대바 도야 해요 아들라 공리 지냐 놓고 변 와지
사도 도예요 말
연다 돈이 돈벌이 대바 도야 해요 말
现在
돈벌이 되면서도 뭐지 권한 거 네 치고 치자지마도 얘 대바 도야 해요 말 아들라 공리 그냥 치지 말
So when we talk about the branch of enlightenment, its definitions is an exalted knower in an IS continuum that acts as a cause of the enlightenment that is its result, right? So it means that on the occasions of path of seeing, the main cause that achieves the ultimate goal of enlightenment is the exalted knower that directly realizes emptiness. So the main cause that acts to achieve the ultimate enlightenment is the exalted knower that directly realizes emptiness. So on the path of seeing. So and because of this, that's why it says an exalted knower in an IS continuum that acts as a cause of the enlightenment that is its result. So because on the path of seeing, the main cause that acts to achieve the ultimate enlightenment is the exalted knower that directly realizes emptiness. So therefore, it is the definition is considered in this way, and its result is enlightenment. And however, for the on the path of meditation, let me go down first. Then on the path of meditation, and one has already realized the meaning of emptiness, and there is no other meaning of emptiness to be realized. So on the path of meditation, what one has to do is to improve one's mind by familiarizing with the meaning of emptiness that one has already realized.
그러라는 게 전에 지발리 온도에 랑긴 레버 장주 도지 주도다 랑긴 레버 가나 도지 주도세 니게 제 시오도와 어디 시오디 지발리 그래 다 조이 전에 그 시오와 조이 전에
So then from this perspective, from the perspective of its result, then these two, branch of perfect enlightenment and branch of IS paths, are proceeded proceeded differently. So one is for the branch of perfect enlightenment, its result is enlightenment, and its result for the branch of highest paths is highest paths. So from the perspective of the result, this how's it the difference between besides that one is proceeded on the path of seeing and one is proceeded on the path of meditation, and that is besides from this perspective, and these two, branch of perfect enlightenment and branch of highest paths, is also proceeded. The difference between these two is from the perspective of its results, from their results. Yeah. So then the second question is, with regard to the boundaries for branch of perfect enlightenment, our text states that the boundaries are from the path of seeing. And Geshe-la added that it goes through to the Buddha ground. If it goes through to enlightenment, which is a result, how does it reconcile to the definitions of branch of perfect enlightenment as a cause of enlightenment, especially since we do not accept simultaneous cause and effect? Chẳng chú ý là cái san sam cái过了写完那，那我注意背下那啲可是chẳng chú ý là cái san sam那的通làm này years，啲呢啲其實là cái呢邊搞嘅，呢啲通làm này sang cái啥啦 years，呢啲sang cái啥啦sang cái啥啊度啲有完那，sang cái那啲地步咯，呢啲有完那，呢啲chẳng chú ý là cái千亿，chẳng chú ý là cái千億是啲yang chẳng chú意有咯，呢當sang cái sa adu yos sedes janchu sede yang jebu chages ini di kasati gyudang jebu tujila de keleng gi mebas ngaso ma pe
그 거야 말이에요. 남지 기지 담보 배상지 지라 남지 기지 담보데 기지 님백이 주 차리 그랬어.
남긴 기지
남지 기지 담보데 남지 기지 님백이 주 차리 그랬어.
남긴
그래 네가 내버렸어.
남긴 기지 니바
남지 기지 담보데 남지 기지 님백이 주 차리 그랬어. 이 와서 진짜 나스레 말이에요. 남지 기지 담보데 남지 기지 님백이 주 차리 남지 기지 담보데 장주 되나 그랬어. 남지 기지 담보데 장주 되나 그랬어. 장주 되나 그랬어. nanti kita tamu de orang yang berjibat nanti kita ni batik jelas itu jadi tidak dicabut masuk jadi orang apa jauh lah jadi orang cabut jadi jauh beres kita masuk sama tu jual ini bo nanti cuma de jual le jual le jual le ni kan semua le
jangan juga yang nasi ada jual bo ni
ni jadi jual le jual le
ngebo
semua le ni tahu beres
di namkin kiji thambo de yang rangi jebo namkin kiji ni ba thoje gi kyoro yeah so because anything namkin kiji thambo de yang jangju yin la re jangju gi kyoro ni yang orang yang de jebo res
jauh 뭐 교단 개부터 맞아요 그래서 저 지방 가서 hit지를 잡으되 되게 저다 되게 저기서는 실리도 안 하고요 네
지라 자네 쉐와이나 데 제부 차이래 자 자네네 데 교차이래
실리가 처리 와요 그냥 처리 와요 뭐 그냥 왔어 뭐 저단 개부 뒤냥 뭐 이러서 그래서 저 아주 지나도 저 이거 니가 해서 아주 지나고 그러 저 이거 해서 니가 해서 rangi debda rangi juasi shawde deni nang yona chiyo deni chaba shawo des rangi juda rangi debda slawde deni nang yona mare nanchi kiji dambode rangi debda nanchi kiji nimba di jo ha nanchi kiji dambode ni debda nanchi kiji nimba di yo chawde kiji nimba di kogen debda de korani dinasi ta shayo
rangi debda
ode
yeah. So in general, when we talk about branches of perfect enlightenment, branches of enlightenment. So in general, generally, when we talk about these branches of perfect enlightenment, then it is a cause and it is a result. It is a cause. It is a result. And however, we cannot say that branches of perfect enlightenment is its cause, is its result. So if you use the word is its cause, is sorry, oh yeah, sorry. So when we talk about these branches of perfect enlightenment in general context, these branches of enlightenment is a cause and at the same time is a result. So you can they simultaneously you can say that they are a cause and they are a result. 即當佢拖你些位呢，啲傳音度，因為講出言啦，成日啲啊，叫你講叫乜話，傳音度你寫啦，啲嘅話，你哋講嘅叫人啦，啲講嘅地步，那啲傳音度寫有話咯。
소득 ran 체딩도 체딩 랩스 과는 준비 샤워다 비나 사원이요. 사원이요 만. 자주 연락돼. ran 보시지 좀 간주 돼. 너 거기 ran 좀 자주 내가 비나 쓰려요 만. ran 좀 자주 열어. 비나요 말에. 자주다 되니 뭐.
So in general, branches of enlightenment can be perceived as a cause, and at the same time, it is a result. So in general context, these branches of enlightenment is a cause, is a result, is a thing, is impermanent. So, however, if you use the word its result, if you use the word its cause, its results, then yes, branches of perfect enlightenment cannot be perceived simultaneously. So, for example, the first moment, the first moment of exalted knower of all aspects, the first moment of an exalted knower of all aspects is the cause for the second moment of an exalted knower of all aspects. I repeat, first moment of an exalted knower of all aspects is the cause for the second moment of an exalted knower of all aspects. So this and the first moment of exalted knower of all aspects itself, if you're talking about it itself, then it is a cause and it is a result. It is a cause because the first moment of an exalted knower of all aspects is the cause for the second moment of an exalted knower of all aspects, and it is a result because it is the objects of attainment. So in this context, the cause and effect are not portrayed simultaneously. Yeah. So whether it is so from this example also can let you understand easily the difference between enlightenment or its enlightenment and its result, that is enlightenment. So like for example, if we say we exist simultaneously with enlightenment. So enlightenment refers to Buddhas. So we exist simultaneously with Buddhas. So we can say that, right? So we exist simultaneously with Buddha. So, however, you cannot say that I exist simultaneously with with my with the enlightenment how say with the enlightenment that is. So you cannot say that I exist simultaneously with my enlightenment. That is my result at the same time. So I repeat, the first sentence is we exist simultaneously with enlightenment or with Buddhas. So you can say that. However, you cannot say that I exist simultaneously with my enlightenment. That is my result, my ultimate result. So it depends on which one that. So that's why in the definitions, the words each result is very important.
Can we okay, this is fine, but can we go back to that first question that I had, which talks about, Geshe-la was saying that the results are different, right? But I have a bit of difficulty trying to understand why the results for the branch of perfect enlightenment is posited on the path of seeing, and yet
Perfect enlightenment.
yeah, but further along, the branch of Arya's path is posited as the main object of cultivation on the path of meditation, right? But yet we talk about the Arya's, the result of the branch of Arya's path is an Arya path, whereas the result of the branch of perfect enlightenment, which is posited on the path of seeing, the result is enlightenment. There are many steps between path of seeing, to enlightenment, right? But yet it seems as if the branch of perfect enlightenment, which is posited as the main object of cultivation on the path of seeing, the result is enlightenment. Whereas the main objects of cultivation on the path of meditation, which is obviously a higher path than path of seeing, but the result is not posited as enlightenment. It is posited as more than enlightenment, you've Arya path all along the way, right? I guess my difficulty is trying to understand from the path of seeing to the enlightenment. Well, I guess the main problem I have with this branch of perfect enlightenment is, as I mentioned earlier on, they seem very random,
Oh,
when,
yeah.
yeah, so I still don't get that point. Why is it that these 7, which does occur in the branch of Arya's path, like for example, meditative stabilization, right? We have a branch of perfect enlightenment, which is meditative stabilization, and we have a branch of Arya's path, which is also meditative stabilization. Okay, but yet now we seem to say that the branch of perfect enlightenment, which is posited, on the path of seeing, the result is enlightenment. But the one that was posited on the path of meditation, which is the branch of Arya's path of meditative stabilization, the result is Arya's path, is not enlightenment. It seems a bit strange, how the
Even though the path is higher, however, the object of attainment is not higher, right? It seems like it's not higher. It's not posited as the ultimate goal, which is enlightenment.
Correct. So so that's a problem. I think the branch of Arya's path is clearer to me. It's very comprehensive, but the branch of perfect enlightenment is a bit.
Yeah. So why is that 7? Must be 7, right?
So I don't know how that is picked. Yeah. So that. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. 講大呢啲睇先啦，一啲空氣調係啦，講出現啦嘅，講出現啦呢啲通冧嚟查嘅我咯，呢啲拍冧現啦呢啲講啦嚟查嘅我哋，而呢啲都會差呢些位啦，啲點啲查嘅我咯，而呢講出現啦呢啲通冧呢有話，而呢讓嘅這部講出查嘅我哋。通冧講冧你貓咯， 이네 대부 대샤와이나 포자 파투 대샤기오레스 디 팔람기 옛라이나 디 공람네 샤기오로 이네 또 공람네 샤기오와이나 디 당시와이나 디 공람면 통람네 포요로 포이나 양 이네 포자 타투디 랑기 대부세데 포자데 양 장축 샤기오 마레스 팔람지보데 샤와레스 근데 대양 도바지 가자한테 도바냐나 대 스무탕에 함고 지레스 당 에네니바데 양 기슬라 사니마데 기슬라 간디슈아데 근데 가자 장축이 연라 유인데 제주 연라 되노 제주 연라 되인데 양 가자한테 림바 낭시디 조기 매반 낭신 제사 ini di palamgi lain yang lima nangsin di samudang lain yang ji la doya di kasa di agoya di sewa dus lela dus ini jangju yen lain yang ji la doya di yang sebo sida ramin dus di dan juan ni da wo yo ba che ro ini kai jin yang di lam po wei ne yang de bu yang jangju sha gi wo de gong lam yin de lam wai na yang di de bu di gong lam ka palam di ma do di sha gi wo ma res ni ba de yang jangju yen la yun de 양 림바 매반 낭신 데스 림바 매반 낭신 다보 통이도스 네 강내 네 상당히나스
네, 나중에 지금 뭐 다지다 보다 전에들이 그래서 온라인까지 단지 이게做些的 단주 똑바로 봐도 지지 집도 가르치는 시디제
통람기 값수
단주 똑바로 단주 똑바로 봐지 징계기 집도 가르치는 시디스 그래
많이 디바
지지 맞아 징계기 집도
봐도
단주 똑바로 봐도 지지 집도 가르치는 시디제
디바 조데
시디 다 된디 시디들아 하디 짜야기 요도메데 토마토 토나서 보그래 해서
카데 짜야
하디 짜야기로 하디 짜야기 요도메도 시디데 매번 세 요도메도 토마네 한번 전 무슨 또 하자 토나서 가서 보여겠어
토마 통람기 값수
토나서 되니 토나서 가서 토와서다 되니 토마서 nemba 무슨도 오니 시디 받듯이 시디들 하디자 요도메도 토마 대에 가서 토마서다 대에 가서 토마 혼자 들어와서 대치고라 보자 이제 장초야 치도 때려야지 샤워야 돼 유지들이 해서 이때 쉬이 봐 아무데나
So on the path of seeing, so the obscurations, the main obscurations that obscures us from attaining enlightenment is knowledge obscurations or obscurations to omniscience. And the indispensable or the main thing to counteract these knowledge obscurations, the first time or the first attain the main thing that counteracts these knowledge obscurations is on the path of seeing. So meaning that the first time that we attain the main thing, so the main thing refers to direct realizations of all truths. So this the first time we attain these direct realizations of four truths is the one that is the main, it mainly counteracts. The first time we obtain the first time we obtain the tool to counteract knowledge obscurations. It's the first time that we obtain the antidote, or the first time we obtain the tool to counteract knowledge obscurations. And this first time obtaining the antidote or tool to counteract knowledge obscurations is attained on the path of seeing. Therefore, its result is considered as enlightenment. Because the main obscurations that obscures us from attaining enlightenment is knowledge obscurations. And the first time we obtain the antidote or tool to counteract knowledge obscurations is on the path of seeing. So we first time obtain that tool or antidote is on the path of seeing. Therefore, its result is considered in the definition, its result is considered as enlightenment.
그 방아 연락을 지어야 돼. 방아 연락을 rangi jebuji 방아 터지 죽까지 전발로 오와 다 된딜로데 정말이나 가서 그러면 이제 방아서 뒤로 정지 뒤로 또 나도 뒤로 거래 그래서 미세 뭔가 전 뭐가 그 거야 우리 되면 그것도 거래 일이야 우리 전에 내와 내가 공부해야
the shitty 카리자
시티 카드자라 우리 야자 공부해야 지마도 정말 거야 게 뭐래 몰라 다 고나 가서 랑 데 하나 연락 가서 랑 데 앞이 아니라 이 하나 그지 줘서 이 가서 데부터 장주대 되나 데부터는 무엇을 내요
당기 대모 팔람스야 돼 당원이 지나 대한 장축사 대한 딘낭로라 네 지고 바로
누구래서 누구래 가서 고나 가서 무엇을 내고 해야 돼 주세요 해서 다 하나 가서 고나 연락 가서 다른 게 데부 하나 도시 주시야 어디 랑 데부 하나 되나 그래서 장주대
dia shitty dikhatija la de kumdi khatija la ko tinya de ma to ye ka sai khang po ba sa de
시티 카드자라 공부를 해야 돼 미세게 내가 거야
신고 좀 도be to ba de ni kumdi ko tinya na
공리대 양주아 시소다 한국
sa to ya yo
와랑의 리버 하나 한국 리버 하나 되나 우리 비디오
sa to ya yo ma ba kom lam yeah. And then for branch of Aya's paths, and then in the definitions, its result it says its result is Aya's path. So its result is Aya's paths. In fact, enlightenment. In fact, enlightenment itself is already included in these phrases. In this phrase, its results Aya's path. So, and the reason is because when one is on the path of meditation, so in order to counteract knowledge obscurations, so what one has to do is to familiarize oneself with the direct realizations of four truths. And on the path of seeing, there's no the meaning of emptiness. There's no other meaning of emptiness to be realized. So therefore, what one has to do is just to improve one's mind by familiarizing oneself with what has already realized on the path of seeing in order to counteract knowledge obscurations. So therefore, it says its result is Aya's plus. So even though the word enlightenment is not explicitly mentioned, however, enlightenment is already included in the phrase its result, Aya's plus.
그렇다. 그 방어연합의 장주연합처럼 바리를 찌르. 그다 그래서 맞아. 에너지 다 상호 방법이나 바리를 누구도 쓰러와. 바리를 맞아. 지단 맞아. 그래서 바리를 가다 보면 포마치우의 전바의 시험으로와. 전바의 장주연합 시험으로와. 전바의 장주연합 시험이 다 전바의 맞아. 지단 맞아. 방어연합 장주연합 가서 맞아. 뭔지하게 미유대 미유대 가서 做点不起来啥的。那点不起来，也是经常把它常常的下去。
讲对，常播那地铁巴罗。
过去讲就米的点不起来米下午的话，点不起来下午的，点不起来下的米呢，米我看看像高一点下雨都行。
是那下
雨。那这电视里面看到电视朗读的，看到电视朗读的，这把那个是这把在电视朗读的了，有你们去觉得哪下个去你了？
电视朗读，
点不起朗读然后。你我学习去了，哪下个去你了？哪下个去了？你我去你的，我说这把是哪第个在，哪里第个是弄没了？哪里知道我说，这把马吉把他，心里我们告诉，记了马吉把这张就下不了嘛，那个这把，这张就下不了嘛。那这你告诉这把的上去一浪说的，电视给浪多了，明年电视给浪多的了，啊的，你我学习哪下个去你了？那你我学习去了，哪下个去的？란지 림바 냐네지 림바데 마지바 림바데레 그니 너무 쉬죠 난자가 주제 란도지 란지 림바데 마지 디레 니가서 림바데 디레
어딘시 랑도 그니 용어 배 초당 남정기 초니 니데 냠네게 림바
냠네게 림바
냠네게 림바 임바
냠네게 림바데 마지 냠네게 림바데 마지바 림바데 뭐 디레
其实你的music话的，你的那不有了。
我的，这个是music的效果嘛，那就那就空气的个是
新的一个，
新个是 시기 제발 시기 저 그래서 시고야
Mm,
대상들이랑 sha고요
mm,
제발 디스자 채워 참소
mm. So to talk about the stages, how the branches of enlightenment are linked to each other. So in this context, when the objects of observations is four truths. So in this context, it talks about four truths. However, I'll say in the general context, and it can relate to any other topic. So however, in this context, and we talk about four truths. So its objects of observation is four truths. So the first one is mindfulness. So mindfulness is mindfulness that doesn't forget the stages of the path in relation to the two classes. The two classes refers to thoroughly afflicted, thoroughly afflicted class and a completely pure class. So and so it's a mindfulness that doesn't forget the stages of practice in relation to these two classes of the objects of observations and objects of adoptions and objects of abandonment of four truths. So yeah, I repeat. So in this context, when we say mindfulness, mindfulness is a mindfulness that doesn't forget the stages of practice in relation to the two classes, thoroughly afflicted class and completely pure class. So that is related to the objects of adoptions and abandonment of. So mindfulness here in this context is not the same as the mindfulness that we talked about in the context of unabiding. So the mindfulness that we talked about in the calm abiding, it says, single pointedly focus on one object of observations, right? So, however, here the mindfulness it doesn't only focus on one objects of observation. It observes or it doesn't forget the stages of practice of the two classes in relation to the objects of adoptions and objects of abandonment of the four truths. So, so the mindfulness that we talk about in this context is more vast or more extensive. So mindfulness is the mindfulness that mindfulness doesn't forget the stages of practice of the two classes, thoroughly afflicted class and completely pure class of completely pure class, the objects of adoptions and objects of abandonment of four truths, right? So then there is the first one, mindfulness, and the second one is strong discriminations of phenomena. So strong discriminations of phenomena analyzes or it discriminates the meaning that one doesn't forget. So strong discriminations of phenomena analyzes or discriminate in detail about the meaning that one doesn't forget. So the meaning that one doesn't forget is the objects of adoptions and objects of abandonment in relation to the four truths. So, and the meaning that one has discriminate in detail, then one put effort in the meaning that one has discriminate in detail. So that links to the third one, Joy's effort.
tenpa legur ta mu le na
the zunju ga suan tenpa ya le
legur da nga to chida fu chi she gwa tenbi ko nga to tuwa shu chenpo legur tuwa shu chenpo legur de tuwa de gai chahi cha gai chahi oda gawa ta ho degas
and when we undertake a joyous effort, a strong enthusiasm will arise. So when we undertake joyous effort, a strong enthusiasm will arise, and this enthusiasm is part of joy. So that's what. So from joyous effort links to joy.
나 tendi tendu tegi zombi gawa legur de gawa ki chahi ta de gawa legur de ko sa gawa shu chenpo ji go de ka sa gawa khandi ji go da tendi gawa de na so chida daga je na so pala 그 가서 팔아가 말아가 지금 지난 요아 지난 배 결라가 와 어디라 가와 들리 가와 게 시비요 말이 이 가와 된 가서 배 지난 가서 세미식이 너무 가와 세미식 너무 생제 단지 내리 안다 대화다 대화라 대화다 와 아니야 진짜 현재배 대화다 대화라 가 우리다 탑이 대화다 맞아라 가 뭐 된대기 배 순재 타지 미유스를 가고 이거스 God 미쳐 미세지 고
And when this strong enthusiasm arises, and this strong enthusiasm, this strong enthusiasm will arise, and this strong enthusiasm belongs to or is part of joy. And when this joy arises, this strong joy arises, then we have to meditate on this strong joy. And this joy doesn't refers to that joy that you feel in relation to your father, in relation to your the joy. It doesn't come from it doesn't come from the kind of love or affections that you have towards your mother, father, or things that you love, or the joy doesn't come about from the wealth or objects of enjoyments that you have. And this joy refers to the joy in the four immeasurable. So this joy in this strong joy refers to the joy in the four immeasurables, and this joy is to wish all sentient beings, to wish all sentient beings to have the happiness of higher states and liberation.
我到底搞的我说人家生前参加这里让一个搞的我还是我他们当我的娘的这边搞了我说很生气的去了电视上头了因为这边主要的话我爹身上这搞的理解这没有好的很生气去了电视上头娘的人主要的话
Yeah. So and we say that is the joy in the four immeasurable is because when we engage in these objects of abandonment and objects of adoptions in relation to the four truths, it is for the sake of other sentient beings, right? So that's why when we come to this joy, then this joy is the joy in the four immeasurables.
第二个是我是搞的修情报上，生前谈起来搞的修情报去公务的是吧？搞的修情报去公务的，
甚至他们去
电力时间谈起来电话我做，
电话电报了，
电话的，不是的，好吧的，电话搞的是吧？这搞的修情报了的，现在了我做另外个开始另外个开始，另外连锁网我做第二个，你看到连锁网，连锁网的怕用多少大看的。 连锁网的修了，现在现在的搞的了的，现在我们连锁网，你是连锁网这家，
是不是的？
哦，是不是的？你是连锁的，你搞修全部了的话，搞修全部了的，这个是连锁网，你今年来的，我年来的时候的话，都是咱们怕干的，人家是连锁网这了的，那西洋是大家搞的，一样是吧？
Yeah, so when this joy, wishing all sentient beings to have the excellent happiness and not separated from the happiness of higher states and liberation. So when this strong joy, when we have this strong joy, then the negative states or negative tendency, because there's a physical negative tendency and mental negative tendency will be discarded, and the mind will be, and the body and mind will become serviceable, and this links to the pliancy.
哦，这里是连锁网了的话， 理性连什么那个西藏说的，把他这个西藏出情不过，理性的什么西藏过的理性的什么地了，好的，我这个西藏的，我第二个。
Yeah, so when the physical and mental negative tendency are discarded, then once one's body and mind becomes serviceable, then one meditates on the pliancy.
理性的什么的来我的，然后呢，应该就是大天多的，对，是了对，那个下呢，这个也出来的东西，是吧？那谁的你把电波用的，是顶硬是大长这个的，那顶硬是我们去强迫他，弄到忙不有一个了，你顶硬是的出来不？他也出来不了嘛，是吧？我电力理性的什么第一个，因为这么是顶硬是大的你出来。
So then we meditate on the physical and mental pliancy. Then once one will be able, one will be able to direct one's mind at will. So in other words, one's mind abides in meditative stabilization, in which one's mind can be directed at will at any object. Can be directed onto many objects of observation at will. So for example, when anger arises or when discursive thoughts arises, we are unable to abide in meditative stabilization, right? So when we have this serviceable body and mind, and then we meditate on this physical and mental pliancy, then then one's mind will be able to abide in meditative stabilization at will.
那的顶硬是点不起来了啊，那顶硬是点不起来的，那说对，先看到。这样子吧，等你他对用么的，那就先得了，弄把点去，先用吧，打用头啊，先用吧，这个我是先用把它长，顶个是了的，我是先用把打长我这个，用吧，是吧？一个是打用的了的，顶个是点不了的，我是先打用，这边这把这把用嘛的，这把这个就是上了嘛，他先你先用把上头打的，打用我的这个打用了是吧？我说对，弄到毛不就那当牛来出来或者要嘛是吧？当牛来出来或者要嘛，今年这点不第一都是当牛对吧
？So and then when the meditative stabilization is firm, then in this firm meditative stabilization, one doesn't have to analyze anything, right? So when when we have this firm meditative stabilization, then we set our mind in equanimity. So then it links to the last one, equanimity.
这个是跟当牛的来的，当牛的来吧嘛，这个当牛七八级功这个，那七八级他的功夫呢，生阶当阶你的恰当在当牛的功夫的，
生阶当阶，
我生阶当你的恰当的话，前面当牛是吧？我第一个是没设计过了，马上就来的，生阶当阶你的恰当在当牛的功夫的嘛，当这当样说，我当必须当牛是嘛不有了吧？你是早晚你买的，你是早晚你买的，第一个是我说，我当牛必须当牛是有啊，你说话的。当牛是吧？我说当牛是有的话，说啊，当牛是当牛前面当牛是那个的话，第一个是前面当牛是第一个，前面当牛生阶当牛你的抢着，啊对，个当牛肯定是不的，但生阶当牛你的抢着当牛的面过去，点过去了的，别公园别老点过去过去抢的，先让你看了就白呢，让你看了就白呢，那你把它点过去有这些个。
就是当牛为呢，这样被小人。
当牛呢，我就这个我觉得，先当牛说的话是。我就让你结巴一点。
哦，对，那是。
就嘛结巴了，找不着。
就没结巴。
哦。
Yeah. And here, the equanimity doesn't. It's not an. We has. Sorry. Yeah. So equanimity here refers to a special equanimity that one has to meditate on, and this equanimity is the equanimity in the four immeasurables, wishing all sentient beings not to be separate. All sentient beings to be separated from attachment and anger towards the close one and towards the distant one. So and one has to meditate on this equanimity. So and equanimity here, it doesn't refer to the neutral feeling. So equanimity in relation to feeling, then it becomes a neutral feeling. So it doesn't refer to that, and it doesn't refer to the equanimity in terms of application as well. So equanimity in terms of application, like for example, when we practice when we study, then we practice it continuously every day instead of burn the midnight oil and the next day then you stop and etc. So it doesn't refer to those kinds of equanimity. It refers to the equanimity in the four immeasurables.
这个是的话，是当年就恰当的个，看那接触的，现在就来我的，背下来嘛做，平常的背下我啊，平常哎，那个不是，我都不知道三星人呢，我会打不了，我什么呢？这些路呢，这些马路呢，管理路呢，而路呢要不接个的说，电量是了，真的是，是吧？给你当年在省级当年那里恰到这，当年电力他是什么了，是吧？是吧？
当然得恰为那啲飲呢嘅，肯定先啦，
行啊，接你把那个对你当然不得在的，我说那就新看的别效果的，反正什么的，对新看的对用户要不比如休息稍微呢，对，这个是稍微好的那种结果也是。
Yeah. So when when one becomes equal, so when one's mind becomes equal, or when one has this equanimity, equal mind, then whatever practice it will be one can engage in any practice. So when one has this equal mind, and this equal mind refers to the equanimity in the four immeasurables, and then one can engage in any activity, any practice. So this equal mind or this equanimity then usually is illustrated by the example of a level piece of land, level piece of land. So then on this level piece of land that you plow properly and etc., then whatever seeds or whatever seeds or grains that you plant, then they will grow nicely. That's all. Yeah, so sorry. So over time. So however, I have some important points. I'll say the main point in relation to those this topic and etc. Then I'm unable to cover it today. So next week, next Tuesday class, then at the beginning, then I will talk about it before we start. Before we continue the Bodhisattva. Yeah, so sorry.
Perhaps if we cannot finish ornament, we should maybe have next Tuesday as ornament and BD starts because they're two different. Some people are different, so you cannot jump from ornament to BD. So maybe since people have questions, it is not fully answered. Maybe Geshe-la can summarize, and then we continue with any other question. Is that okay with Geshe-la?
Yeah, so that Jema ina yang di kapsiba jibo yang junju ma diba kan isna yang the junju tang kapsiba ye lo tu de lo are sa.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So next, sure. Geshe-la say okay.
Yeah.
So it's too late. Very late for William already in Australia.
Yeah.
So sorry. Yeah. So next class will be ornament. Yeah. Next class. So we finish the ornament. So ornament for clear realization, and we dedicate these roots of virtue that we have accumulated so far. And maybe we dedicate these roots of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha's teaching, mainly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live eons long, to have excellent health, and may all their holy wishes and enlightened activities be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all directions. In particular, we dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Geshe Lama Zopa Rinpoche. May the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche be swiftly returned teachings as sentient beings, so that we will have the opportunity to receive the profound teachings from Rinpoches again. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to the world peace, and may excellent happiness prevail in the world. May wars, conflicts, they are getting is not ceasing. There's no sign of ceasing, and may wars, conflicts, disaster, natural disaster, pandemic, diseases, and etc. On those unconducive conditions be pacified immediately. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to those who pass away because of these conditions, and those who suffer because of these conditions. May all their negativities accumulated since beginningless time be pacified immediately and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment.
제가 먼저 제일 먼저 제일 우리 지금 그거 이거 야 맞아 미시 단다 지모야지 맞아 단다 나지 맞아 미리서 논지야 맞아 등도 생지 여러 등도 생지 샤 제도 봐봐 아 리고 공 나도 저 공라서 봐 대다 스모 이제 논지야 제도 맞아 생지 자타 추다 뭔가 뭔가 마보도 세고요래 나도 저 간다 시제도 저도 봐 세권 토면서 디바다는 상지지 공부가 뉴도 토야다 간다 나와진 조건 지상 리딩 치바지 돈이 간다 롱데르스나 퇴상 공부 안에 최근도 진행 상지지 공부토야 어때 들리지 게자지 공부가 있어와 롱데르스나 퇴상 공부지 양내 최근도 진행 상지지 공부가 뉴도 토야.
And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to to animal sentient beings who are being enjoyed by being enjoyed by human beings, and those animal beings are many millions millions and billions of animal sentient beings who kill because for their meat, for their blood, and then for their bones, for their skin, hide, and etc. So may these sentient beings may all their negativities be pacified immediately, and may they quickly achieve a precious human rebirth with 8 leisures and 10 endowments, and properly engage and properly listen, meditate, and because I listen, contemplate, and meditate on the 3 baskets of teachings, and through these quickly achieve the state of enlightenment.
Dāgī chīnyī sābhī kīwā tī tēntān rūwā kāmsā kāmbē nāng shīvā jīsūn dōsān rābā yī tēmē nī mō rīndō sē shē shū chāng chū sēn chō rīmbō chē mā chē pā nāng chē kyū jī āyāṃ pā mī pā yāṃ gō nē gō tō pē wā shū gā wē chī dā kī mā tāng kū tō sāṃ pō tē yāṃ tē shīn tē tē tā kū kē chē sū tāng rū chē kīwā tē tā tāng chē rā tū ngō tā wā rīmbō chē mā kē pā nāng chē kyū jī kīwā nyāṃ pā mī pā yāṃ gō nē gō tō pē wā shū tā wā rīmbō chē mā chē pā nāng chē kyū jī kīwā nyāṃ pā mī pā yāṃ gō nē gō tō pē wā shū yī kē sūng tū chē bē lāṃ chī chē sā sē kāng chē tē lū kū chā nā pē mō tē tsīng kā sō lā sō wā tē sō shē lū lū rō shō chī tē kāng tē pē tē mā tē wā kāng tē jū wē sā pē yī shū tō kā tū sō mē tē tsīng kā sō lā sō wā tē sō tū shē 业让做路上进化人是就化阶段这新业该有嘛对对对没帮助别给来作用是不被对对人国家许多对被直接被瓦拉那样被就是被国家人准备接着老板说的偏偏嘛那种越关键嘛给被电脑嘛就多爱就那许多怎么在被我计划系列一列范围当就说感受起老当家现那些都给老婆接都被的培养多少被人给上都接被都牛接入微信搞这边到电话马上为你接着做电子加做一下别世界不同的路。那起码到一些。
Oh yeah, thank you. Today a bit late. Sorry.
Yeah. So we
Thank you,
Thanksgiving
Geshe-la.
Madala.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Don't
You
forget
can.
Thanksgiving Madala next
Ken.
time.
Okay, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Shala. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
Shala.
night.
Thank you.
Good night.